Hey, it's Benjie Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcast because People of Distinction is a nationally and internationally syndicated show because of listeners like you. Our shows are available across all major podcast distributors as well as YouTube. And if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. We appreciate the support. Continue to like and follow and sit back and strap in because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Wilda Milliron Worth. And we're going to be discussing her amazing book, A Travel Bug with Itchy Feet. A retired woman lives her dream to travel the world. Now it's available for purchase through Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, all the regular online book resellers. Head on over there, pick up copies of this amazing book. But while you're at it, also check out her other book. Now I do want to put out a disclaimer, a little asterisk here. She has another book that she's written, and this one is called Is This Hazel's Girl? Perceptions, Dreams, and Goals of a Misbegotten Pennsylvania Dutch Girl. Now, listen, that book is available for purchase now, but it is going through a republication. So it's going to be released very, very soon in a more updated version. Head on over there, pick up this copy now, but also check back in frequently to get the new one the moment it becomes available and get all of the added pieces to that book the moment it becomes available. And before we go any further, I want to take this opportunity and point out the fact that Wilda was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know, I'm talking about Author Reputation Press. So if you're a writer out there, you've gone through your process and now you need help moving the book you just developed. Contact ARP because this is exactly what they specialize in, people. You're going to want to head on over to authorreputationpress.com today and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, it is a true pleasure to have Wilda here on the line. Now, right there in the subtitle, right, it's going to give you what you need to know. This is about her following her dreams of traveling the world. Now, she did it in retirement age. There's a few reasons for that. But for my parents out there, you're going to understand just because you have those little blessings, and that is exactly what they are, although at moments, maybe your children don't feel like little blessings. I get it, right? As a parent myself, I've been there. I understand. But all of the smoke and mirrors aside, those little creations are blessings. They're wonderful. We absolutely adore them. We cherish them. But we also understand that the moment they are born, the moment they begin to breathe their first breath of life, they are now your number one priority. They are now your main focus and that full-time job, in addition to everything else you got going, right? And that, what tends to happen is then that means any particular dreams, and in this instance, dreams of traveling the world, have to take a back seat. They have to be placed on pause for a little bit. Now, I love this book because people, it is much larger than just Wilda's traveling experience. I mean, that it is. But this is a book of inspiration. This is a book of perseverance. This is a book that carries an underlying message of never giving up on your dreams. I love that and what it symbolizes. And let me tell you, her traveling experiences, they're not too shabby either. All right. This lady has some fantastic experiences that she's going to be able to relate to us today. But once you pick up copies of this book, you are going to be greeted with all of them. So sit back and strap in. Wilda, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you?
I'm fine. Looking forward to this.
Likewise, Wilda, we are absolutely looking forward to this as well. I think what you've done here, like I said, not only is remarkably entertaining, but it also carries a message with it that each and every one of us are going to be able to take to the bank, because we've all been there. I mean, especially just from a traveling standpoint, how many of us out there listening in right now have had similar desires, had similar aspirations to travel the world and witness life in other countries, witness life from other perspectives. And for those amongst us that have been blessed enough to do that traveling, whether it's in short supply or a lot of it, we understand how much of a gift that is. And this is something I can relate to, and this is something I know my listening audience can as well. Before we go into those travel stories, Wilda, start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
I was a teacher. I got my degree in Texas and taught 15 years. And my husband died, and when he died, I suddenly couldn't afford to keep my house and to feed my family unless I made a career change.
Yeah.
And so I became a tech writer and finished the rest of my working years. Well, until I was 77, I continued to work. And I got laid off in 77. I thought, oh boy, I'm tired of this hunting for a new job every time I got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided that I had friends that kept telling me, you should write about your life. Well, I took a writing course in memoirs,
Mm-hmm.
and and every time I wrote, I kept getting my assignment to return too technical. Be more creative in writing about the surroundings, the mountains, the flowers, the trees, what's going on around you. And so after it took me 2 years to finish the course, and by that time I decided to write about my life. And I published my first book in 2021, and then I was sitting here one day thinking, ooh, I have too much time on my hands. And a friend had been telling me, I wish you would write about your travels.
Yeah.
I know just enough that I want to hear more. And so I went over to the computer and I started writing about a travel bug with itchy feet. And at first I felt like I had I had a bug in my pocket, the travel bug, and then realized the travel bug was me. And my feet were itchy all the time. Every time I came back from a trip, I started looking for a new trip. And so these are the travels that I took until I came to the point where I felt like I shouldn't be traveling anymore. I still think about traveling, wish I could, and think, well, maybe in my next life. Who knows? Anyway, it's something to think about.
Absolutely. I love it. Listen, you've given us so much to think about. Well, now the next thing that I'm interested in thinking about, Wilda, is some of those travel experiences. Okay, now, clearly, the book is filled with them. So rather than just going into all of them and telling us about it, I'm going to hone it in here. And I'm curious, Wilda, do you have a favorite location that you have traveled to? And if so, why?
For one thing, is I took a train trip from South Africa to Tanzania, across 5 countries.
Mm-hmm.
He does these tours, on the train, in which we can stop and visit interesting places, very interesting places, and also see the countryside. They take care of everything. The food was wonderful. You had 3 meals a day and lunch and dinner, they included any wine that you like. They had a wide selection of wine. Absolutely. Where do you ever go that you can get wine included in your meals? Plus, they took care of everything. They took care of when we stopped. We went took a tour in Victoria, and got to see. Well, we got off the train, and we welcomed with a chorus of local young men who had the most beautiful voices I've ever heard. And then we walked to a hotel where we spent the night. And on the way to the hotel, I watched warthogs eating grass. They get down on their knees. I had no idea. There were so many things that I saw there. And by the time I finished that tour, I came home and I thought, I've got to go on a safari. And I had friends telling me, "Oh, don't go on a safari. It's too dangerous." I went on the, I ignored them. I pretty well, when I have a goal, I pretty well do what I want to do. And so I went to Tanzania and spent time in a tent, and we got up every morning. We went out looking for the wildlife. We would come back, have breakfast, and then in the late afternoon, we would go out again and see these animals. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, once you do that, seeing an animal in the zoo is a sad experience.
Yeah,
because you feel like those animals need to be out there in their own environment.
Mm-hmm.
They were fantastic. Every trip I've taken, there's something I've come back that I've enjoyed. I no matter what kind of experience I've had, I always look forward to the next new experience.
People, again, the book is called A Travel Bug with Itchy Feet by Wilda Milliron Worth. You're going to want to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the regular online book resellers. Pick up your copies. While you're at it, remember, there's another book called Is This Hazel's Girl that is available for purchase at the moment. Get that one, but also check back in frequently for the republication of it, the new edition that will be released in the near future. You know, Wilda, my follow-up question that I want to go into, okay, we talked about your favorite experience. Well, not necessarily an experience that you would say was the worst experience, but one thing that I do think should be mentioned because it is a factor of traveling. It's not always a very pleasant experience. There are times when you're in a foreign country, when you're in an area that you are unfamiliar with, there are things that you need to be mindful of and be careful around. So now let's utilize this time as a way of paying it forward, offering advice, and giving a cautionary tale. Talk to us about an experience that you've had that maybe wasn't the greatest.
Well, I went to Russia. No, I decided to take a train trip across Siberia. Mm-hmm. And on that trip, we dropped down into Mongolia. And it was a day trip. And when we came back out of it, we discovered that my visa had the wrong date on it, and when I came back into Russia, all of a sudden I was in trouble.
Oh man!
And so the tour guide on the train said, "That's all right, don't worry, I'll take care of it when we get to Moscow." But in the meantime, I had dinner that night with a tour guide from Germany. And he said, "Oh, you are in real trouble." He says, "Give me your visa, give me your passport, and give me your and let me check, let me see what I can do about it."
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, he met me at breakfast, and he had set me up with our American ambassador. Okay, so the next morning, that night I called Kentucky, Frankfort, Kentucky, where I had set the tour up through the group that I set my tour up with, and told them the problem. So they went to work, and they called me like at 3:00 in the morning and let me know that I had a seat in the from Moscow International Airport, and that I best be on that, or that I had to be out of Russia by that 24 hours.
Wow.
And as I'm walking down the aisle to the last seat in the bus, in the plane, it was one of these 3, 5, 3 rows, and I was in the middle row, the middle seat, and I was walking down there. As I got there, the plane, I could tell it was taking off, and I sat down and thought, thank God I'm back where people can understand me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm safe.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Wilda, wow, what an experience.
Like I said, I've never gone to Russia and never intend to again.
You know, Wilda, wow, my goodness, what a tale. And listen, first and foremost, so glad that you were able to make it through and make it back here into the States, because we understand how delicate of a situation that was, and how dire the situation itself was. Well, I, as someone who has had the opportunity to travel to multiple countries around the world, and hopefully much more traveling in the future, I understand that the benefits massively outweigh the cons, right? In terms of the experience, but also what can be taught to us when we experience life in other parts of the world and understand how other people are living. It gives us a greater perspective on our lives and what we should appreciate, so on and so forth, and a lot of things to learn from it. But I want to hear it from you, someone that has traveled as extensively as you had. Wilda, why do you think traveling is important and should be done?
Oh, the history of the other countries. We come from other countries originally, somewhere along the line. And the history of the other countries, the experiences of meeting these people, of seeing what they've done in with their countries. Some have been through war. Some have had to completely rebuild their entire lives, their cities. It's just awesome and amazing to me at what you can learn by traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people during the time I was traveling were there was a time when they were saying, Russia was so much better than we were, that we should live, they were running down our country, and I thought, they need to travel. I felt like our government, when they're yelling about how bad we are, maybe we should give them a one-way ticket to Russia, whatever country they think is better.
Right.
And then if they want to come back, they find a way to come back. But they need to experience the fact that we're a fantastic country, and I love my country. But I love learning about other countries. And like I said, it broadens the mind, it broadens your thought processes, and I think it gives us patience in learning about other people and their lives, and their countries and their governments. I love traveling, and I wish I could still do it.
People, again, the book is called A Travel Bug with Itchy Feet by Wilda Milliron Worth. Head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pick up your copies today, and get lost in this amazing journey. Wilda, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute honor. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Well, thank you for having me.